The houses in astrology set the stage for the events and like the people and things that happen in your life, right? And as we progress along the houses, we get further and further away in small steps from you, the first house. We're talking about the third house today. So this is the house of things that are near and dear and close by. They're not you. They're not even your values, right? They are the people, the things that are in your everyday life. So this can include your siblings, your neighbors in your neighborhood, your local path, the walk you take, your commute sometimes. This can take into account your daily life, but it's not just the things that are near to you because it's a relational house. It's things that matter to you, right? The moon has its joy in the third house because it's speaking to things that are close to you in all contexts of that word close, right? So some close friends that you see on a regular basis can live in the third house, but it's your daily life and the connectivity that brings you to something that's outside of you, right? So the ways that you are then touching base with things that are near you that you might relate to a lot, that might even in some ways facilitate your understanding of you, but they are not you, right? So then in keeping with the way that we've been talking about the houses, there's like a sort of more literal vibe, and then there's the more like metaphorical or symbolic side. So in that same way, the third house is then speaking to the way that you engage with information, how you communicate yourself in a very direct way, like your style of communication. It's speaking to intimate writing projects, even the ways that you learn how to engage with the outside world, right? So how do you explore your curiosity? What was your early education like? It can be a big third house thing. Parochial, things that are in nature, not too far, right? Regular thought patterns that you might have can fall into the third house. Kind of general information gathering, sharing, expressing, how you learn to do that, what your style of doing that is, how you feel comfortable doing that. The third house is speaking to things that are comfortable. That's kind of a key here. It's regular in your life, and so it feels not just normal, but also moon, comfortable, nice, you know? This is a cadent house, so we are building on that same thing that came up with the angular of the first house, right? We're still talking about the self in some ways, but this is now really blurring the lines between the self and what is not the self, right? You're not just dealing with things that are related to you or even things that matter to you necessarily. These things matter to you, but also you're just engaging with what is out there more. You're engaging with something that is less controllable, less necessarily a part of you, and a part of the third house is figuring out what's you and what's not you, right? So you're interacting with this other thing kind of for the first time, and you're getting a sense of where your where boundaries around self might be in some ways. Planets or placements that you have in the third house or transits to the third house, you might find that they can be supportive to the self that you're developing in that first house. And then if you have your IC, your Imam Quelli, the opposite point to your midheaven, sitting in your third house, whole sign, this would be in a whole sign system, then you might find that these themes, this nearby life, your local life, your siblings, your local park, your daily walk, these things might be really critical to your sense of feeling grounded, safe, to what makes you feel like you have a foundation. Those might be things that feel like safe places for you, safe spaces for you, and things that you tap into when you need to remember who you are, remember where you come from more than remember who you are, kind of. But yeah, this might be that might be an area of life where you're able to express a self that really only feels comfortable when no one unwanted is looking on. I would normally say when you're alone, but because it's the third house, it's a relational house, you're probably not alone. You can look to the ruler of your third house, its conditions, the sign it's in, the house it's in, for more information about how to access this house better or relate to it in more expansive ways. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And up next will be the fourth house.